This is Prince Magnum coming to you from his apartment in Washington. I am still here. I want to get out of here. I'm ready to go to Bismarck. I, I mean, Washington's not a bad looking town, but there's just things that go on here that I really don't like. And at a later date, I probably will be talking about those things that I don't like. Um, that will definitely be a video later on. Um, if you haven't looked at any of my stuff before and you're just now looking at my stuff maybe for the first time, maybe this is your first video. Um, Yesterday was August the 7th, and it was my birthday yesterday. It was also that halfway marker. I'm a sober member of Alcoholics Anonymous, and uh, and my sobriety birthday is 6 months to the day from my belly button birthday. Uh, so uh, as of yesterday, it was 8.5 years of continuous sobriety for me as well. And I was I was sitting there thinking today, what would be so great would be to talk about, um, talk about um, some of the stories that a little bit about some of the stories. I mean, just kind of touch base on them, and possibly uh, my top favorite stories in sobriety. Those little moments that I guess you could say that every AA member who's worked the 12 steps and sticks around for a little while should have. Um, those little moments in sobriety. And for me, the few moments that I've had, the one moment, I was back when I was about 3 years sober. I got elected as the alternate GSR of the Noon Topic Group of Park Hills, Missouri, and I went to Eastern Area, Panel 38, in Alcoholics Anonymous, Eastern Area, Missouri, and I, I, we were conducting business, and we got to this point in the during the assembly that they wanted to do what they call the share session. There was three topics, and I ended up getting talked into talking on one of these topics, and I got up and for my very first time being in front of that many people. I got up in front of it was 173 people. I gave a 3 minute talk and got a partial standing ovation. That's my favorite story in sobriety, um, which I'll talk more about that story um, at a later date. I'll tell I still remember what I said and everything, and I really think that story needs to be heard because of how it made me feel and things like that. And not just, and for those of you out there who think it's just because it's a pride thing, it needs to look at a 6 and 7 step again. No, it's not a pride thing, so don't go there. No, it was something else. But we'll talk more about that later. My second favorite moment in sobriety is when my mother came and heard me as a speaker. It was right when I had made 3 years of continuous sobriety, and she came to hear me as a speaker for the very first time. My mother and I hadn't talked to each other in 7 years, and we had just started patching up our relationship after 7 years. And she came and heard me as a speaker, uh, for the first time when I was 3 years sober. I had just made 3 years sober. It was on February 7th, and she came and heard me, and my mother, evidently it was very emotional for her, she cried all the way through the video, all the way through the 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 entire time I spoke, and I'll have to tell a little bit more on that story at a later date. I don't want to bore anybody to tears, but I'm just kind of touching base on these stories. Uh, my third favorite, and all these are real close together. All these moments, I mean, it's like I almost can't fully decide which one I like the most. But if I had to really, this would be the order. When I made 7 years sober, my my who ended up becoming my mother-in-law, came and heard me as a speaker for the first time. And I'm telling my story and everything, and there's always this one spot, the spot about my friend Tanya, which if you've looked at any of my other videos, when the video from whenever I came into the program and that sort of story, you'll hear Tanya's story. So you'll hear a piece of it. At a later date, I will do her story. I'm just figuring out how I want to talk about it. I don't want to script it, but I really want to talk about it. Um, and my mother-in-law came and heard me, and when I told that story about Tanya, she broke down and cried with me, because I do cry whenever I tell Tanya's story in an AA meeting. And mom, if you're watching this, thank you for sharing your emotions with me. Uh, and I love my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law is a wonderful woman. And if I had to choose a fourth story, um, my fourth story would have been uh, my my father hearing me for the first time as a speaker. And we're on our way home after the meeting, and Dad and I rode together, and we're on the way home, and my dad looks at me, and he said, uh, well, he used my real name, but Magnum, I'm, I want you to know two things. Number one, I'm proud of you because you're my son. I will always be proud of you because you're my son. And number two, tonight was the most proud of you I have ever been in my entire life. I think you might have helped some people, and that was big. That was really big. Um, so, yeah, if I had to choose that one, yeah, that one, that would be one of my absolute favorites. And then another absolute favorite story of mine, and which is kind of the 8-year anniversary yesterday, and then into today. Um, when I made 6 months sober, and I'll talk more in detail on this. I was with my son's mother at that time, uh, Jessie Q, as I'll call her, Jessie Q, um, and I had I had actually gotten a few friends together to go to Six Flags, and she had a surprise birthday party waiting for me when I got home, and then the next day all of us friends went to Six Flags, and I'll tell more about this story. And then the next day I was at my home group, the Noon Topic group in Park Hills, and we get to the Noon Topic group, and Sober Man gave me my 6 month coin. And what ended up happening was, is when he handed me my 6 month coin, we both broke down and just started crying our eyes out while we're giving each other this great big old hug. I mean, it's just not even a second after he gave me my coin. And later on, I actually got to give that coin away to somebody. I don't remember who, but I gave away that 6 month coin. But I had that coin for a good long while, and it was a very fond moment. As a matter of fact, for quite a long time, every time Sober Man would uh, give me a coin from 6 months, for the longest time, we both would cry when he would give me my coin, and it was just uh, no, for me it was because of the relief I felt from getting sober and everything, and going, and working the program and everything, and that I'm still alive. Uh, so in that regard, I mean, I got very emotional. And for Sober Man, he'll tell you it's because of how proud of me he is. And you know, there's something to be said about sponsors. Um, I think I probably should do a video on sponsorship. I think there's something to be said about sponsors, because every sponsor I've ever had, I've had three now. I have loved every last one of them very much. They've all been very good men. They have taught me so much. Um, there's something to be said about sponsorship. Um, but we'll go into that at a later date. But those would be my top stories if I had to choose any one of those stories. And maybe, just maybe, I might actually go into detail on as many of those stories as I possibly can. I'll have to tell some of those stories. But yes, if those were, but the one from Eastern area, that's my all-time favorite, and I'll tell about that. I'll go into detail of the story itself and why it's so doggone important to me, uh, especially for the fact that, well, I'll just kind of give you, I'll kind of give you, if you will, an Easter egg on this one. Um, at the time, I think I was working up to a relapse, and that's why it was so important to me. So with that, if any of my, the main objective of these, especially these sobriety videos, is, I just want to help people. I just want to help people. Um, I'm so bound and determined to help as many people as I possibly can. Can I save the world? No. But in a famous movie, but I can't change the world, but I can at least make a dent. And I heard that a sponsee showed me that movie, the movie where that comes from. And matter of fact, I'm still sponsoring the guy right now, and he's also changed my life too. I love him very much. And with that being said, if nobody has told you that they love you, Prince Magnum does. God bless you and have a happy 24. Thank you.